Welcome back to another episode of Whether or Not. I'm Austin Long here with Caitlyn Bell. And as you can see, we are not in our normal environment here, Caitlyn.
Yeah, Austin. So we're actually on our Thanksgiving break right now. So this is a special episode of Whether or Not.
That's right. We've got some science experiments, a feature on weather and travel, and even a tour of the Weather Center here at Penn State. So let's jump right into it.
Hello and welcome from Bud and Pham's apartment. We are on Thanksgiving break this week, so instead of a forecast, we are actually going to show two cool weather experiments for you. And Brendan, you'll be showing something about clouds, right?
Yep, I'll be showing you how we can recreate fog in just this glass bottle with just some water.
And I'm going to show you how we can get air to rise to make those clouds. So with that, I'll jump right into it. Alright, so I'm going to show you the very first step that you have to do in order to make clouds. So I have these two glass jars with water inside. Now, if I heat up the bottom of these glass jars with my hand, it causes the air to expand. And the expansion of the air causes the water to rise. Now, this is just like what happens in the atmosphere. When you heat up the air, it expands and it pushes the air up higher in the atmosphere until that air cools down to the same temperature as the air around it. And when it does, it can't rise anymore. Now, if you get enough water vapor inside of that pocket of air, then you can actually get it to condense and make some clouds. And now Brendan's going to show you what happens when you make clouds.
So now I have a glass jar that's filled with somewhat warm water. So the water acts as a moisture source at the surface, and we notice that fog, especially during the night, and right at sunrise, that it's very, very low to the ground. So this acts as a moisture source towards the ground where there's a lot of water in the air. This is ice. This is going to represent the cooler air that's above the moisture. We're going to let this sit on top for a little bit, and you'll notice eventually that we're going to end up getting a cloud. Now, the way this works is that the moisture inside the bottle right now, we have something called a dew point, which is a measure of how much moisture is in the air. So the air outside of it is pretty dry, but the air inside of it is very moist. And so the dew point is very high because of the warm water. With the ice cubes on top, this helps bring the temperature right here down. And when the temperature and dew point match, that's when you start to get condensation or the formation of a cloud. And so you start to notice that the inside the bottle is getting more hazy, and that's because the air inside just at the top here is starting to cool, and the dew point and temperature are essentially meeting like this. The temperature dropping, the dew point staying right here, that's when you start to get condensation of water, and that's when you get a cloud at the surface. So this, we're basically reenacting how clouds are forming right at the surface at night. At night, we have a lot of moisture, especially after rain, that often sits near the ground. And then at night, especially on a clear night, we get all of that heat to just rise up to space. And so then you're left with just a very shallow layer of colder air. And that's when the temperature starts to drop and the dew point stays the same. Get them to meet, and now we've got a cloud in a jar.
From flying by plane or driving by car, traveling can affect just about everybody during the holiday season. The weather can vary greatly across the country, bringing a variety of impacts. Weather can create significant travel disruptions, particularly for flights. Since 75% of flight delays and cancellations are due to weather-related issues, it's clear that safe flying requires good weather. However, planes don't always operate in ideal weather conditions. Low visibility significantly affects flights because the pilots cannot see their surroundings clearly. This makes takeoff and landing more challenging, posing major safety risks. This visibility can be reduced by fog, but precipitation can also further complicate the visibility. Any precipitation type can hinder normal flight operations by making runways slippery and impacting planes' engines. This precipitation intensity also plays a big role, producing varying effects. Wintry precipitation can cause the largest disruptions, making landings and takeoffs rather slick. Extreme temperatures can also have a large impact on air travel. Below freezing temperatures can create a layer of ice on planes, requiring de-icing procedures and longer airplane runway times. Similarly, extreme heat can make it difficult for planes to lift off the ground. Wind is another crucial factor that influences takeoff procedures, particularly during the winter months. Since the winds are usually the strongest in the atmosphere during this time of year, this can lead to increased turbulence during flights. The wind strength at higher altitudes, especially from the jet stream, creates more troubling air conditions. The jet stream contributes more unstable conditions, making the flight bumpier for passengers and presenting challenges for pilots. The wind intensity is significant, but the direction also impacts on an aircraft's operation. 3 primary wind types affecting airplanes are headwinds, tailwinds, and crosswinds. Headwinds blow against the aircraft, slow its ground speed, and provide additional lift during takeoff. Conversely, the tailwinds push the aircraft forward and reduce the flight duration. However, tailwinds can be problematic for planes on the ground as they require longer runway distances. Crosswinds can also create challenges for air travel, especially during landing, by exerting a sideways force on airplanes. These winds blow perpendicular to the plane's path, misaligning it with the runway direction. While weather conditions greatly influence flight operations, they are not the only factors affecting travel. Roads, for example, can also be heavily impacted by adverse weather conditions. Weather can affect far more people on the roads compared to planes. In fact, 22% of car accidents that occur are weather-related, while less than 5% of plane accidents happen due to the weather. Less plane mishaps occur because pilots are trained to handle challenging conditions, while car traffic is much more frequent than planes. From nice sunny days to extreme precipitation events, weather can create travel difficulties just about anywhere. Although clear skies typically lead to safer driving conditions, sunny days often see an increase in traffic. In contrast, rainy weather can lead to tremendous flooding, leading to significant risks for drivers. According to the National Weather Service, about 100 flood-related fatalities occur annually in the United States. Flooding also increases the likelihood of hydroplaning, where water builds up between tires in the road. This causes vehicles to lose control, posing serious dangers to drivers. Remember, when you see flooded roadways, to turn around and don't drown. While rain causes the most weather-related accidents in the United States, snow and ice can often return to much of the northern states and higher elevations during the holidays. Even light snow can bring hazardous driving conditions, making winter travel a hassle. According to studies by the Federal Highway Administration, the first significant snowstorm is much more dangerous than most following snowfalls. This often coincides with the holiday season, creating heightened risk for travelers. Even light snow in typically milder southern regions can cause severe disruptions. Residents are advised to avoid driving during snowfall, which reduces the risk of becoming stranded on the road. Weather can significantly disrupt holiday travel, so staying informed and avoiding travel during extreme weather is essential. Be aware and follow the National Weather Service alerts for more updates regarding your travel plans. For Weather or Not, I am student meteorologist Matthew Howard. Welcome to the Weather Center, the hub of Penn State's meteorology program. As you can see right behind me right here, we have many students here gathering and working on schoolwork, but we also like to socialize here in the Weather Center, so many students find themselves here just about every day.
Our meteorology students can often be found in the Joel N. Myers Weather Center, where they have the chance to collaborate on homework, projects, and seek help from the many faculty members whose offices reside there. The Weather Center offers many work areas, such as multiple desk setups for groups of students in chairs or couches looking out of beautiful windows when they need a break.
So we're here with some of our Penn State meteorology students to talk about the Weather Center. So Frank and David, what are your favorite parts about the Weather Center?
Yeah, so I mean, I like how no matter what mood you're feeling, you can either get work done or there's always some type of activity going on. So you could be social or you could be locked in on your work.
Kind of like David said, the social environment here is very, very nice. There's a good balance between, talk with people you know and getting work done. There's also good views. There's windows, so it's usually bright in here. And there's good views of West Campus and the mountains. So just an overall nice environment.
Another part of the Weather Center that students take pride in is the Penn State map wall. When installed in March of 2009, the display represented the 5th largest display of pixel density. Not only is it the first site students and faculty encounter in the morning, but it stores valuable educational information used every day. This cutting-edge tool replaced the paper map wall before it. The map wall shows everything from current conditions, model guidance, to climate and past weather. Specifically, satellite imagery, 4-panel maps, and snowfall charts make their debut throughout the day. The loop of images allows students and faculty to regularly join for weather briefings or meetings throughout the semester. Every meteorology student has the opportunity to gain knowledge from one another and use the wall to further their forecasting skills. The Weather Center has another area to it, however, that offers even more.
Welcome to the other part of the Weather Center. This is actually our student computer lab. This is where a lot of students get their work done on computers, but also we can improve our forecasting and broadcasting skills in this area as a lot of campus weather service shifts occur here.
The computer lab offers technology to students that may need to edit, record, and produce creative videos for a class or extracurricular activities.
So we're here with one of our meteorology students. So Ethan, what is your favorite part about the computer lab?
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the computer lab is that it's a good space that's quiet where you can get work done effectively. Out in the Weather Center, there's a lot of conversations going on, there's a lot of meetings and such, but in the computer lab, it's a good, quiet space where you can just focus on, your assignments, catching up on emails, or anything else you have to do.
Our meteorology students love the Weather Center and its many perks. Whether studying in a group or making general conversation, long-lasting relationships are built here between not only the students and professors, but the Penn State community as a whole. For Whether or Not, I'm student meteorologist Caitlyn Bell.
Now it's time for your Weather Whiz question of the week. And we're curious, we're going to ask a Thanksgiving-related question this week, a little bit of a fun one. We wanted to know, on average, how many turkeys are eaten on Thanksgiving in the United States? Is it A, 500,000, B, 2 million, C, 46 million, or D, 100 million? And if you selected answer C, you would be correct. And Caitlin, I know that's what I'm doing for Thanksgiving.
Yep, same. But I'm also taking a trip down to Florida, so I will be enjoying some nicer weather over the break, but I can't wait to have a delicious meal as well.
We thank you for tuning into this special episode of Whether or Not. I hope you learned a lot from everything that was on the show this week. Tune in for a new episode where we'll be back in our normal environment next week.